Konnichiwa. This is the Shogunstein. And this is a historical background, and just to show you what was in the box of the game Pagan, Fate of Roanoke, which is a two-player, I don't know if it's an LCG kind of living card game because there are going to be expansions for it, but it's a two-player asymmetrical, I guess, kind of deduction game taking place in the lost colony of Roanoke. And it's from Capstone Games. And it's interesting because, in this current climate in board gaming, to actually have a historical theme and actually to have people in the game as opposed to animal people. But of course, we do have to have a disclaimer because I guess in board gaming we're not mature enough to handle these kind of themes. So again, there's a disclaimer because it has the theme of witchcraft that, again, that they're against violence against witches, animals, and people. Okay? All right? No one wants violence against witches, people, or animals. But again, I guess at age 53, I got to have a disclaimer on there. But at least we don't have animal people. I picked this up at our friendly local game store on super clearance. So this, I think, is a Kickstarter edition that came with exclusive sleeves and tokens. So you're going to see some of the more deluxe components here. Now, Roanoke, not Roanoke, Virginia, but Roanoke, North Carolina, was, well, here's a trick question for you. There's Miss Mitzi. What was the first permanent European settlement in North America? Many people are probably going to say Jamestown. I do have a side hustle in history, side gig economy, and that is not the case. The first permanent European city in North America. Does that mean that this game is got some sort of colonialism in it? Again, I like historical themes in games, but for some reason in board gaming, you're not allowed to have colonialism. Again, I'm not endorsing colonialism or imperialism, but it's only okay if it's in space or if you have animal creatures. So during European colonialism in the Americas, actually it is St. Augustine. The Spanish had the first permanent city, European city in the Americas. Obviously, there were Native Americans here, Indians, before the Spanish and the English, and they did have, as we now know, they did have more diversity. There were many different tribes. They had agriculture. They did have advanced civilizations in the Americas prior to the Europeans. We know that, and now there's more evidence. If you look at some of the work of Graham Hancock, there's actually evidence that there was advanced civilization in the Americas even older than we originally thought. But in terms of European colonization, the first permanent European city, again, there were cities here in the Americas prior to the Europeans, is St. Augustine, Florida, not Jamestown. Jamestown wasn't even the first English colony. The first English colony was not Jamestown, Virginia, but was actually Roanoke in what's today North Carolina. Now, one of the reasons that they are going to be in North Carolina with Roanoke and then Jamestown later is because the Spanish were in Florida. So one of the reasons for those locations was to be kind of a check on the Spanish influence in the Americas. Eventually, the Spanish will be kicked out. The Latin American revolutions, Simon Bolivar, that'll come after the French revolutions. There's obviously the revolution in Mexico against the Spanish. And then obviously also Andrew Jackson kind of took Florida from the Spanish on his own. But Sir Walter Raleigh helped establish the Roanoke colony in North Carolina, originally in 1585. This game is supposed to take place in 1587. That was because they resettled Roanoke in 1587. Again, Roanoke, North Carolina, not to be mixed up, an island, not to be mixed up with Roanoke, Virginia. Now, the governor of Roanoke left to get some supplies. He went back to England. And when he came back in 1590, you're going to have one of the biggest mysteries in history, especially American history, and that's why Roanoke is known as the Lost Colony, because we're not really sure what happened to it. He came back, and on one of the Palisades was sketched in the term Croatan, and then just on a tree the word crow, and no one really knows what happened to the people in Roanoke. So again, I know there are going to be some expansions in here. This one deals with witches. I don't know that witches have anything to do with the people missing in Roanoke. It's not one of the theories that I know. And again, I do have a side gig economy in history. I don't know if some of the other expansions are going to deal with what may have happened. There are some theories as to what did happen in Roanoke. One of the theories, maybe the newest theory, is that in the time that Governor White was away, that they might have run out of supplies or starvation, whatever happened. And the main theory is that there was some sort of integration with whoever survived in the colony. So originally, when it was resettled in 1587, so again, they settled Roanoke 1585, they resettled in 1587, there were about 115 settlers. So one of the theories is that whoever survived of those 115 just basically integrated. There was some sort of assimilation into one of the local Indian tribes. So that's one theory. Another theory is that they might have been wiped out by the Indians. Maybe the Indians attacked. We know that there weren't great relations between the Indians and the settlers. So maybe they were attacked by Indians. Maybe they were attacked by the Spanish. The whole reason that they picked Jamestown later on, and again with Roanoke, is to be a check on the Spanish. Maybe they were attacked by the Spanish and wiped out. Maybe the attempt was made to relocate and it failed. Again, we're not talking about a lot of people, talking 115. So maybe something happened to the people in an attempt at relocation. Maybe there was some sort of natural disaster. Obviously, the climate in what's eventually going to be the Chesapeake colonies wasn't the greatest. And even later on, there was a higher death rate in the Chesapeake colonies as opposed to the New England colonies. And that's why eventually the Chesapeake colonies are going to be known as a widowarchy, because many of the male workers, the male property owners, died, and women inherited those plantations and farms, and women actually had more power in the Chesapeake than they did under the patriarchy in New England. Another related to natural disaster was drought. We're finding more and more, whether it be Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, whether it be the Mayans, whether it be Angkor Wat, that drought, something to do with water, is a big reason some of these civilizations, some of these settlements disappear. And again, similar maybe to Jamestown, starvation. Jamestown was almost wiped out because of starvation. Maybe the people in Roanoke starved. So we're not really sure what happened. But fortunately, the people at Capstone Games know more than we do, because somehow, even though the people at the Roanoke colony disappeared, it's the lost colony, somehow Capstone Games had cultural consultants. So maybe they found some people who survived Roanoke to be able to tell us culturally and consult what actually happened. So good for Capstone Games for finding someone from the lost colony to culturally consult. Pretty thick rule book here. Give you a lot of examples. We're going to be going through the rule book some more here. We've been watching some videos. My friends at Maple University got a couple things out there. So we have a nice rule book. This does come with the deluxe wooden components. So here's some of the pieces we got for the hunter, for the witches. We got nice wooden pieces here. It also came with sleeves. So again, I got this on sale at my friendly local game store. List price was $60. I got it 75% off. So this came to about 16 bucks. So very nice components. Now they are expanding this. There are going to be some other decks. So I think these skulls have something to do with some of the expansions that, again, I don't have. So there is social deduction to this. You're trying to figure out who the witch is. So this is like the village. So you see there's some kind of cool art on here. Reminds me a little bit of that French inn. What was that? The something inn where you were trying to figure out who the murderer was. That art looks kind of similar. Now there is a mat that I didn't get. So I have these player boards here. It's against 2 players. So I got the hunter. This is the village. Again, you got these bags. So again, I'm assuming this is for the hunter. This is for the witch. This is going to be for those yellow skulls. Here's the witch board. Pretty cool. You got a deck. So I guess there's an element of deck building in here. So here's the witch's deck. Again, it came with sleeves. So again, pretty good deal for 16 bucks. Hopefully the game is good. Here is the village deck. What's going to happen is the witch is going to know who the real witch is. So the hunter's trying to figure out who the witch is. So maybe that's what happened to the Roanoke. Maybe the cultural consultants know that the real thing that happened in Roanoke was not assimilation by the Indians or starvation or attack by the Spanish, but it was actually witches. I saw that movie with the girl who plays the chess in New England with the witches. Now, that was a scary movie. Good movie about the New England colonies. But I thought witch was spelled with a W, not a V. You got these discs. You got a player aid. Card quality is decent. Again, the artwork is pretty cool, pretty creepy. But it does come with sleeves if there are any concerns with the card quality. So again, it's a 2-player game, asymmetrical. Got tells you what you're going to do during the game. Again, you got your player board for the hunter, for the witch. Again, we got our village. Nice wooden pieces. So price-wise, can't beat it for 16 bucks. Hopefully the game is good. We're going to learn the rules here. Again, I do enjoy historical themes in games. I do enjoy games that actually have people. With today's trend, these would all be, cute rabbit, dog villagers instead of actual people. So nice to see a historical theme. Nice to see people in a game. And so I threw in a disclaimer. Okay. Again, I'm 53 years old. I need a disclaimer. Okay. Anyway, this is a look at what's in the box with deluxe components. Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. Here's the instruction book. These are nice wooden pieces. Again, each side gets their own deck. This is the Shogun's theme. Out.